Yes.
We Auburn football starts Saturday too.
Oh, that's another
And that
thing.
used to be a big thing. It seems like while we were doing those shows, when they would start back playing football, Auburn kept playing at noon, and it was like, really, because usually
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
if you're really good, you don't play the noon game too many weeks. But
That's
we weren't
true.
really good that year, so we were playing lots of noon games. And of course, we had great fans who would keep telling me the score in the comments, so I'd be sure to know. And plus, I had another little web, my phone going, telling me what was going on too.
Well,
But
and
yeah,
then I think that with Jeannie, what she did so beautifully was her stuff was so clean,
oh, of
and
course,
it was clean and it was funny, and it wasn't like this most amazing thing that's ever happened. She would take the common thing and just tell that story, just like sending Left Brain to the grocery store.
right. Well,
That and then
all of
that
her
was
stories were
brilliant.
really
Yeah,
simple things.
simple
Yeah,
that everybody can go, oh yeah, and everybody grabs a piece of you and says, I've done that, I've done that.
right,
So that
right.
to me, when you can, and see, I see so many speakers, and because Jeannie mostly was in the theater world towards the last
The
part.
last dozen
Yeah,
years or so.
and she
Yeah,
loved it. I mean, I saw her
she
live,
did.
and she was incredible. I saw her at the Township Auditorium, and she and Carl Hurley were doing that together.
We
And
did
then
that.
she had
Did
done that
that.
cavalcade of comedy with the buses, and so
She did.
Jeannie had built this incredible base of fans. And so when she launched out and did the comedy with the theater show, and Al had the secret sauce for that, it was like incredible.
Yeah, it was Al McCree, who's the Nashville people.
Yeah.
He's who had the idea. She had been doing guesting. She was Carl's guest on
Right.
his shows because he had been doing that for a long time. And they and he's a really funny
Oh, he
person.
is so funny.
And she would do but he said, I've done it for a long time by myself. I want you to be on it with me. I mean, they weren't together. They would be together long enough for him to introduce her, but they
Yeah.
did their own program. And
Right.
we did that. That was called well, Cavalcade of Comedy, and then just the shows. And we did them. Usually, those were interesting shows. They were done usually on a weekday, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, usually at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon in a big theater in
Yeah.
Charlottesville, Virginia, or Columbia, South Carolina, or
Mm-hmm.
all over, and a lot of Kentucky towns, and Louisville and all. And it was incredible to me because I went to with her on a lot of those. We could be at that theater at 12 o'clock and there wasn't anybody, and by 2 o'clock there were 1,200 people sitting in those seats,
Ah,
and these buses had brought them. And they do the show, and they go. Some of the people on the buses, they would be on what was called a mystery trip, and they didn't know where they were going.
I God
And
love
it'd be
that.
a day trip. This was
Oh
back
yeah.
and they called them motor coaches. They not buses anymore. They're motor coaches, and they were really nice. And they were in their heyday. This was obviously pre-COVID. And so that was fun. And then Al saw her numbers growing, and she was on Sirius Radio
Yeah.
being played a lot, and Life USA was the channel, and I think she was on the Blue Collar
Yeah.
channel some, and they people were learning her name, and and he said, I think you could just on your name sell tickets to a
Yeah.
theater. And where Jeannie was like, I don't think so, because we had done convention show speeches, which you do. You don't have to worry about how many are in the seats.
No. They just
That
show up
you're
because they
just
got to.
working for them. You're doing what
Mm-hmm.
they want you to do. And she loved that. She did it for 50 years almost. And so we still did convention speeches along with the theater shows,
Yeah.
but it became more theater shows as her name grew, and
I
she certainly
it's
could fill the auditoriums.
I remember
So
so well in NSA National Speakers. Jeannie probably spoke throughout her career. I I don't
she
even know how
keynoted
many
about
times.
5 times at
And
least,
that
yeah.
and just to get one
and
time on that
and
main
did
stage
and
is
did a lot
huge.
of breakouts in other
Oh
programs
yeah.
for them. Yeah, yeah,
I
we did.
remember one speech where she had that absolutely gorgeous molded pea green silk suit.
2000.
And yes. And
Washington, D.C.
Yes. And Jerry was standing in the back. And do you remember that guy fell out on the, he had some.
That wasn't that. That was not, I'm telling you the wrong date. That was in Dallas.
Dallas, okay.
That was, yeah. When she was doing the grocery store.
Yes.
No. She was doing the baton story.
The baton.
And she had not done the baton story in a lot of years. She had sort of retired it.
Yeah.
And she decided to bring it back and get a good taping of it, a good video of it at that convention in Dallas.
Right.
And a few minutes into the story, a man
just
he was, I think he was diabetic, and he just sort of passed out.
Right. It wasn't, you know, you don't know, but Jeannie, she said, we need some medical attention.
Right.
And she stopped. And I remember I walked back to Jerry and I said, did you know that Jeannie was, because she hadn't started saying we need medical attention. And he said, I knew something was wrong. I said, how could you tell? He said, there was a phrase that she left out. I thought.
She missed something in the story.
Oh my gosh.
She saw something was going on.
But the beauty of that was that Jeannie knew her material. I would see her on the treadmill in the gym and she'd be going over her material. It was down to a science, but this is to me, I love this part. When she got up in front of everybody, you thought she was just sitting in your den talking.
Right.
It was it related. She was warm. It wasn't like it was this. She just knew. She was so good. And that is just something you learn through life. I mean, you know, really, actually, I call it a little beauty queen technique, because she and I were both, of course, at Miss America.
Right.
But I don't know if y'all ever knew this. I don't know if Jeannie ever knew this, but she was Miss Congeniality, right?
Right.
And by the time I got to Miss America, they quit doing that.
Oh,
so at TV rehearsals, they said, would you walk the ramp? And so I did. I walked that long 140 foot or 400 foot ramp, whatever. And I came back, and the staff of the Miss America people, they said, that is our equivalent to Miss Congeniality. Whomever does the TV rehearsal walking the ramp, I went,